On tonight's CTV News, Labour plans to axe Sarah if elected, Christchurch taxi fares are world class, and someone's dreamed up a rather chilling way to raise funds for charity. This is CTV News for Thursday. I'm Grant Mangan. Labour's final Canterbury recovery announcement proposes a Board of Cantabrians governing Sarah until its end in 2016.
Labour's final announcement of its Canterbury recovery package will see hope brought back to the people of Christchurch, according to Labour leader David Cunliffe. Labour's David Cunliffe promised today, if elected into government, the region will finally be on the roadmap to recovery. The removal of the Canterbury Earthquake Recovery Authority and cancelling of its extraordinary powers under Section 38 of the Recovery Act will be demolished in time for the expiry date of 2016.
We hear from business people all the time that Sarah is a governance nightmare. There's a huge bureaucracy in Wellington that's too hard to deal with, and there's too much red tape, not to mention a minister swinging through like a wrecking ball. We'll transition power, therefore, back to the people on the ground, because they are the best people to get things moving.
David Cunliffe says prevention of further decisions being made without public consultation will no longer occur. Labour plans to install a board of qualified Cantabrians to govern the work of Sarah and return the power to appropriate and competent local organisations.
It'll be essentially terminated by the termination date of the existing legislation. The board will be responsible for identifying the appropriate transfer of responsibilities and recommending that to Cabinet.
Labour's David Cunliffe says they will return democracy to the people of Canterbury by bringing democratic elections back to Environment Canterbury. In 2010, the current national government sacked the ECAN councillors and replaced with government-appointed commissioners. David Cunliffe says the need for democracy is a matter of urgency for Christchurch residents.
All of our regional governance institutions are and should be democratic, and there shouldn't be an exception just because it's Canterbury.
The Labour leader stressed that you cannot rebuild Canterbury from the 9th floor of the Beehive. Wanting to see change in the heart of the city, David Cunliffe says, if elected, Labour will work directly with the Christchurch City Council to assist with the financial crisis. The Christchurch City Council's Koromita report, released earlier this year, revealed a $534 million shortfall. David Cunliffe says Labour is committed to finding solutions, enabling the council to move forward.
So obviously we're not privy as an opposition at this point to all of the detail. What we are committing to is an open discussion which could include reprioritisation, amendment of some of the anchor projects, or the contribution of additional Crown contributions to assist the Council.
Community response to the announcements was positive. David Cunliffe says Labour will strive forward with a message of hope to the upcoming election. However, Canterbury Earthquake Recovery Minister Jerry Brownlee says Labour's announcement today boils down to a discussion with the Christchurch City Council and an unnecessary new layer of governance. Minister Brownlee says establishing a governance board to manage the Canterbury Earthquake Recovery Authority will not achieve anything for the people of Christchurch. The Earthquake Recovery Minister believes adding another layer of governance will not speed things up or offer any new solutions, and will in fact water down the government's accountability for its $15 billion spent. The general election will be held in September. Joel Batista, CTV News.
The cause of a power outage that cut electricity to thousands of Christchurch homes is still unknown.
The power cut that saw 30,000 homes without power only lasted 3.5 hours. Within a short period of time, Orion crew worked effortlessly from 9:30 on Wednesday night to get all of the northern addresses connected. Initially, Orion said once the fault was examined in daylight, a cause would be identified, but today this was not the case. 12,000 of the homes in the northern and northwest suburbs had power quickly restored. The power shortage is found on the high voltage line that runs from Islington to Papanui. Orion Chief Executive Rod Jamieson Says last night and again at first light this morning, the crews walked the line to try and find the fault and found no obvious cause. The Orion chief executive says this is a timely reminder that power outages can occur at any time. Jameson says simple preparations can make a big difference. Everyone needs a backup plan, which includes having torches with spare batteries and a wind-up radio. Orion are continuing to investigate what caused this rare type of outage.
Police are still searching for a man who robbed a Christchurch dairy with a handgun. The alleged offender entered Harewood's Featherston dairy before demanding cash from the shopkeeper. After being spooked, the man left without taking any cash or any items. He was last seen running west down Harris Crescent. He has been described as a white male wearing grey track pants, a black Element hoodie with a blue t-shirt underneath, a black balaclava and black gloves. He was also carrying a black and red backpack. His firearm is described as a black single-barrelled handgun. Christchurch Police are urging anyone with information to contact their local station. New research shows Christchurch's taxis are the most expensive in the world. The city's average prices are $4.50 per kilometre, so a journey from the city centre to the airport will easily set you back $45. Marcus Gibbs spoke to tourists and locals about the high prices.
Probably not, but yeah, it does sound quite a lot of money.
Oh, if I've got to use a taxi, I've got to use a taxi, but you wouldn't be happy.
I'd always work around it. Yeah, there's plenty of other things to catch, you know.
It would. Yeah, I mean, I never take a taxi anyway, so maybe I'm not the person, but yeah, that is high.
Well, I'm currently living in Queenstown, so I think it's actually as high as Queenstown, but yeah, I think it should be going down, really.
I think it's partly obnoxious with the fact that we did go through an earthquake and that all the citizens are suffering right now. So financially we should be kind of drawing back on taxes, but at the same time, how do we expect to rebuild the city without paying for it? So it's kind of like a double-edged sword when we're asking to move forward, but we're not willing to pay the sacrifice to move forward.
But it must sting when you do get in a taxi after a night in town or something like that, and then the driver tells you that's $30 for just going a few k's down the road.
Yeah, it probably would sting, but I haven't had that experience because I don't really go to town at night.
Oh, we're from Perth, mate.
Australia.
Yeah, we're from Australia, so...
If you had to use a taxi in here, how do those prices compare?
They're pretty similar to Australia, actually. They're not that much more expensive.
No, yeah, sometimes. Take the $20 taxi usually. It's $20 anywhere, apart from, like within 15 k's, but yeah, I don't want to take any other taxi because it's so expensive.
I don't catch taxis because they seem expensive, so I don't take them.
So the price is putting you off taking one?
Yeah, pretty much. And also because in Auckland we live walking distance away from town, so we just walk everywhere.
Well, it's not cheap, even it's a half price. And it depends what service you have, and it depends on if the drivers know the right way to go or not. And several issues with it. Yes, they are very expensive.
Probably not. I didn't realise it was so expensive. I get taxis all the time.
The last time I caught a taxi was from the airport to here at the offices of CTV, 540 Wairaki Road, so we're about as close as you can get to the airport without actually working in the airport. The fare was $26. I won't be repeating that experience. Following on from the decision to cancel funding for Christchurch's Christmas decorations, the City Council's new Chief Executive is mooting ideas about how the City Council can trim even more fat. The answer could be no more glossy publications.
We need to look at where we spend our funds because where we spend funds cost ratepayers. So things such as our communications, glossy magazines and things like that. It's important to get information out, but is there a better way to do that? And sometimes I think ratepayers don't want to see something that's glossy coming out from a cash-strapped organisation. So again, just another example, we have to relentlessly look at everything we do and the things we spend on. And we'll be doing that over the next 12-18 months.
Coming up, we find out the latest plans for Kaiapoi's town centre.
I'm Chris Lynch. Join me for CTV's new current affairs show Lynched every Monday at 8:30 right here on CTV, where I talk to the decision makers and those responsible for running our city.
Yuck, look at all this moss and lichen. I'm not getting up there, not in these heels. Time to call Mossbuster.
Mossbuster is a no-bleach, non-abrasive, biodegradable solution that has over 35 years of proven results. You can buy Mossbuster online for less than half the cost of other well-known products and can be yours for less than $1 a litre. You just spray it on and let Mother Nature do the rest, or Mossbuster can do it for you. Check out our website or call the Mossbuster crew for a free quote. Mossbuster, 0800 88 1000.
My son's helped me greatly with my independence now that I've got more mobility.
Mum, I've been looking into stand assist chairs from More Mobility. They recline back with a footrest, then when you want to get out of them, they stand you up. You can even sleep on them. More Mobility can bring one out for a free trial. There's even electric beds too. What do you think? For more range and more expert advice, see More Mobility, corner Clarence and Princess Streets off Blenheim Road.
What a difference More Mobility makes.
BioBrew probiotics are a safe and affordable way to improve farm profitability and animal health. Call us today for your farm-sized free sample.
Spectacular rugby being played in the Press Cup 2014. Get your copy. DVDs available. Call right now, $29.95.
Action Removals, offering short or long-term storage facilities, full packing services, comprehensive rates, all fully insured and with 6 vehicle sizes to choose from. Earthquake repairs? Action Removals pack, move, store and return your valuable possessions stress-free. Action Removals, a family business that has been operating in Christchurch for over 10 years. Action Removals, your one-stop removal service on time, every time. 0800 222 526.
The world has a great deal to tell. Journalists from across the world report on their home nations and the experiences of the people who live there. World Stories.
The Waimakariri District Council is holding an update evening tonight to share the latest progress and plans for Kaiapoi's town centre.
Kaiapoi, a township that's moving forward with residential and commercial development underway. Tonight, local residents are invited to find out how the town is progressing. Waimakariri District Mayor David Ayres is proud of how far the town has come.
Most business people tell me there's a good feel about the town and people are confident about the future and looking forward to further development. There's probably most of what's going to happen over the next year or two will be north of the bridge, where the land was particularly badly damaged by the earthquake, so building there is not an easy space.
However, things weren't always so promising in Kaiapoi. 4 years ago this September, the town came to a standstill when a 7.1 earthquake rippled across the landscape.
When you experience something like that, you think, well, how long can this take? And much of it has taken a lot longer than you think, but there's all sorts of issues of getting funding and people sorting out insurance and all the things that people in Canterbury are well used to.
So what is happening in Kaiapoi? Tonight, council staff are presenting information on topics including the plans for the Kaiapoi Wharf and the riverbanks, as well as other commercial projects.
As everybody in Kaiapoi knows, the Kaiapoi Library Service Centre and Museum is rising above the town, and that building is well on its way now. And we, new commercial developments have occurred or underway.
Tonight's event follows a similar update for Rangiora last month. Around 100 locals are expected. Marcus Gibbs, CTV News.
Christchurch Christmas shoppers will have an extra place to park during this year's holiday season. The Litchfield Street car parking building is being demolished, but a temporary car park will be in its place before the end of the year.
After more than 3.5 years since it was damaged in the earthquakes, a Christchurch City Council engineering report shows this Litchfield Street car park is beyond repair. Major property developer Anthony Goff has been a champion of the building. He sourced an overseas investor who was prepared to stump up $10 million to fix the car park. However, following the release of the report, that won't be happening. The Christchurch City Council wants to support Ballantyne's and Restart Mall during the Christmas rush, so the building will be down in the next few months to make way for a temporary car park. Demolition will start before reinsurers sign off the project. Christchurch City Councillor Paul Lonsdale says this is because the council realises the importance of car parking being available. He says for the central city to thrive, car parking is essential. Discussions are continuing about options for the rebuild of the building. The decision to demolish the Litchfield Street Car Park building comes after the council earlier this year reached agreement with Carter Group Limited, which will build a new 534-space car park on the Crossing Car Park site and maintain it for 50 years.
The car parking building may be no great loss, but Emma Cropper spoke to a heritage advocate about the destruction of many of Christchurch's finer heritage buildings.
Christchurch's heritage stock suffered badly following the September and February earthquakes, meaning many of the city's prized buildings are gone forever, and many are still in line to face the same fate, changing the essence of Christchurch forever.
A real city is a place of layers of time and space and different uses and contexts and architectural styles.
When the 7.4 quake hit in 2010, heritage advocate Ross Gray knew local heritage buildings may face demolition, but to what extent he wasn't sure.
Well, I think we possibly would have thought we would be fighting hard, but we wouldn't be fighting with 230 odd buildings already down and more calculated to go.
After 3 years of fighting to retain Christchurch's heritage, it's all beginning to take its toll.
It's very wearying, obviously. It's very time consuming, it's very energy draining and so on. And the point is that we are made to feel by the authorities, that's Sarah in particular and others, that we just carpers and we're very negative and we're like tree huggers and so on, and why don't we just get a real job and so on. But actually, we're trying to do something creative for the city.
The fight has seen the heritage group move into a more permanent and public space.
People really find it very hard to understand, especially people from overseas who maybe don't know Christchurch, but actually even more so from Christchurch residents who probably think they've got a fair idea of what's come down, but when they see that, they're quite shocked.
The walls are filled with more than 250 heritage buildings, demolished since September 2010. And these boards from their first street rally on November 7th, 2011. The start of many to come. Yesterday they took to the streets against the surprise demolition of CPIT's World War I memorial. In March, the group paraded through the city, protesting against the demolition of the Majestic Theatre.
1, 2, 3, 4, don't demolish anymore!
One of the many protests held as a bid to save the heritage building. Opened in 1930, the Majestic Theatre was the first talking movie picture house in Canterbury and later used by the Majestic Church.
Which was all prepared to strengthen it, to restore it, and it could have been done for, 10 million, whatever. But Sarah stepped in and said, no, we want that bit of land and that building's going because they want to widen the road.
But luck wasn't on their side and demolition crews took care of business. The Majestic Theatre was one building they believed they could have saved, along with many others.
We know for certain of about 30 which definitely did not have to come down.
It hasn't been all doom and gloom. Dozens have been saved. Ironside House underwent post-quake repairs, including the replacement of its foundations. Now the heritage building doubles as Harlequin Public House. Built in 1865, the Victorian Gothic revival architecture of the Canterbury provincial buildings will be restored, along with the $290 million restoration of the Arts Centre, the first building in New Zealand to be designed specifically for a university. But they're outnumbered by what's coming down.
They're greatly swamped by the huge number that have been demolished.
Their biggest battle yet stands in the heart of the city.
It's just incomprehensible that anyone could want to demolish this fine building, which is 70 to 80% still standing, and which is certainly reparable, and for which funds would come from around the world.
Almost 3.5 years on, hundreds of buildings have been torn down, but it hasn't torn down the spirit of heritage advocates, fighting to save what's left of the old Christchurch. Emma Cropper, CTV News.
Still to come, your regional weather update.
Meet the latest arrivals at Berlin's 2 animal parks and find out what it takes to be a zoo baby in a modern zoo. Zoo Juniors. Wednesday nights at 8 p.m, right here on CTV.
Come in and meet the locals at the Bush Inn Centre. Whether it's to grab a coffee on the go or to catch up with a friend over lunch or dinner, the Bush Inn Centre is the perfect place. With our unique range of shops, you'll find everything you're looking for and more. Our friendly locals are always happy to help. We have plenty of parking at the Bush Inn Centre, making your shopping experience just a little bit easier. So come in, meet the locals and shop Bush Inn. You'll find us on the corner of Riccarton and Waimari Roads.
Located at the foot of the Port Hills, Berrymead Golf offers a spectacular location for any occasion. Make your dream wedding a reality with private use of our green function room, outdoor garden courtyard, large marquee and stunning gazebo. Or for your next conference, enjoy the relaxed atmosphere of Berrymead Golf, offering a private, spacious conference room with special deals to make any break a true break. All with customised catering from the Wow Cafe. Berrymead Golf, 50 Berrymead Park Drive, right next to the Berrymead Heritage Park.
Meningococcal C can kill in 24 hours, and getting the flu increases the risk of the deadly disease taking hold. Ask your healthcare professional how you can help to protect yourself with the meningococcal C vaccine.
Get rid of that damaging and unsightly moss, mould and lichen from your path, drive or roof with Mossbuster. Mossbuster is a no-bleach, non-abrasive, biodegradable solution that has over 35 years of proven results. Mossbuster costs less than half the price of other well-known products and can be yours for less than $1 a litre. You just spray it on and let Mother Nature do the rest. Check out our website to find the best solution to your moss, mould and grime problem. Order online or call us now on 0800 88 1000.
Let's face it, everyone has an agenda. And guess what? So do I. Every week, I'll pick 3 stories that grab my attention. Agenda with me, Brent Goff.
An international fundraising scheme has taken Christchurch by storm.
It's not your traditional fundraiser. No baked goods, car washes or cookies to sell. It does involve water and ice. Right in the middle of winter, Cantabrians are being nominated to dunk themselves in ice water for cancer or fork out $100. Christchurch is the latest city to be drawn into the social media craze, and people are jumping right in. The Ice Water Challenge is an online craze where people have 24 hours to drench themselves in freezing cold ice water and put video proof up on Facebook. If participants forfeit the challenge, they must then donate $100 to a charity of their choice. Countdown Bush Inn were pleasantly surprised to hear about the challenge, saying it explains their recent doubling in ice sales over the past fortnight. Eager ice challenger Tupor Javier says although it was cold, it was a chance to get out of her comfort zone for a good cause. The 21-year-old Christchurch girl then went on to nominate 5 of her friends to also complete the challenge. Excited to actively see people feeling the cold for cancer, Tupor Javier says it's been funny watching friends from all over the world take the challenge. The social media craze is an international fuss. Celebrities and citizens worldwide are documenting their ice plunge for the rest of the world to see. Emergency services personnel in America braved the challenge in uniform and donated the funds to charities such as the National Law Enforcement Memorial Fund. The American Fallen Firefighters charity received more than $85,000 in challenge donations. Braving the cold for a good cause, the ice-soaking challenge continues on. Joelle Batista, CTV News.
Well, I'm all for fundraising, but I'm not sure if I'd go quite that far. Avoid tomorrow's traffic jams with tonight's traffic update.
Hello travellers, to help you keep safe out on the roads, here's a few tips. St Asaph Street has pipelining work on it from Barbados Street to Madras Street, so it may be down to 1 lane at certain points this week. Barbados Street from Cashel Street to Chewham also has pipelining work happening, so at times it may be down to 1 lane. To avoid the jams, we recommend using Morehouse Avenue. And for an alternative route south, we recommend using Fitzgerald Ave. To keep up to date on what's happening with the central city roads, stay tuned, keep watching CTV News first at 5, and in the meantime visit the website Transport for Christchurch.
And finally tonight, here's your regional weather.
Kia ora everybody. Well, it was another day of cloudy, humid northeasterly winds onto Canterbury today. Timaru had 12 degrees today, Temuka and Geraldine both had 12 degrees. Ashburton 12 degrees down your way. Methven was on 12 degrees, Rakaia also on 12 degrees today, and Darfield had 12 degrees out there. Leeston and Rolleston had 12 degrees, Lincoln also had a high of 12 degrees today. Christchurch, a cloudy day with 12 degrees as your high, and in Akaroa, 12 degrees was the high for you today also. And out north of the Waimakariri River, Kaiapoi and Rangiora and Amberley all on 13 degrees for Thursday. Taking a look further inland, Culverden and Hamner Springs, you were both on 13 degrees today, and 13 degrees was the high in Cheviot. And up along the east coast in Kaikoura, reaching a high of 13 degrees for Thursday. Timaru, another cloudy, cool day with scattered rain at times during the afternoon, with breezy northeasterly winds. Tonight's low 7 degrees, tomorrow's high you can expect 13 degrees. Ashburton, overcast with more northeasterly winds for mid-Canterbury. Some scattered rain about during the afternoon. Tonight's low will get down to 7 degrees, tomorrow's high 13 degrees. In the Garden City, you can expect outbreaks of rain spreading off the ranges during the afternoon, but mostly dry during the morning with cool northeasterlies. Tonight's low 7 degrees, tomorrow's high 14 degrees. Up in Kaikoura, scattered rain at times tomorrow with overcast skies and gusty northeasterlies. Tonight's low 7 degrees, tomorrow's high will be 14 degrees. The rest of Canterbury can also expect a cloudy and rainy Friday. Let's take a look at the temperatures. Temuka and Geraldine, a high of 13 degrees and a low of 7 degrees. Methven, you can expect 13 degrees and 7 is your low. 13 is expected in Rakaia with a low of 7 as well. Darfield, you can expect 13 degrees tomorrow, and Leeston 14 degrees for you. And over in Akaroa, cloudy in the morning and rain in the afternoon with 14 degrees as the high for your Friday. Out in North Canterbury, cloud and rain around in the afternoon for Kaiapoi, Rangiora and Amberley, all on 14 degrees. Culverden, Hamner Springs and Cheviot, the same for you with cloud in the morning and rain expected in the afternoon with a low of 7 and the high of 14 degrees. Looking ahead for Canterbury, winds decreasing and tending mild northwesterly on Saturday, weather remaining mostly fine with high cloud. Fine and mild on Sunday with sunny periods at first, but high cloud increasing during the day and moderate northwesterly winds. Cold southwesterlies will develop during the evening. A period of showers on Monday morning clearing, but remaining mostly cloudy during the afternoon, and it will be cold with moderate southwesterly winds. Cloudy and cold on Tuesday and Wednesday with drizzle patches and light showers at times. Cloudy and cold on Tuesday and Wednesday with drizzle patches and light showers at times with light snow flurries above 400 metres. And you can expect moderate to fresh southwesterly winds. And that's your weather update for Thursday. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
That's CTV News for Thursday. I'm Grant Mangan. Good night.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.